Hello again, everyone. This is Chris Sciria, and that is the one and only Robert Harding. And this is the Citizen Sports Weekly for Thursday, April 7th, 2016. Yep, we're coming off March Madness.
The madness.
We have hangovers from our brackets because
And from Buffalo Wild Wings.
man, it was a good time, man. It was a good time. You had the beer, not me, man.
I only had a couple.
I was drinking sodas. Yeah, he was responsible. And poor Syracuse. The reason why we went to Buffalo Wild Wings last weekend was to watch Syracuse play North Carolina, and obviously you're quite aware, Syracuse did not play their best. But then again, I think North Carolina was the better team. North Carolina had beaten Syracuse twice in the regular season, so it wasn't really a surprise that Syracuse did not win that game and that they were clearly outplayed by North Carolina. So, but still, Final Four, you got to love it. It's a great season. I mean, any year you can say, yeah, we went to the Final Four. That's a great year.
Yeah, that's quite an achievement for a team that underachieved.
Yes.
You could say during the regular season and in the ACC tournament, and they come out and all the pieces were there. Tyler Lydon, Malachi Richardson, Benajay had for the most part a good tournament. It was just all there, and Cooney showed up. He was, fairly consistent. So, a couple of those pieces will be gone next year, but still a lot to build off of here, and got some good players coming in. So, could be a promising 2016-17 season for the Orange.
The key, obviously, is Richardson. If he leaves for the NBA early, this team will definitely not be as good as it could be if he stays. So we'll see what happens. I think he'll declare for the NBA draft. I think maybe he'll find out that, like, hey, you know something? Maybe it'd be better for me to have another year at Syracuse. Because how many guys have we seen go to Syracuse for 1 year and then they go to the NBA and we never hear from them again?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, Michael Carter-Williams was a Rookie of the Year. And he's been traded from Philly to Milwaukee last year. But really, how many of these guys from Syracuse leave after a year and then they just disappear?
Yeah. My big thing is, and I certainly respect these players.
Right.
It's their decision. But at the same time, you do have to look at, some of your predecessors. The big one to me is Tyler Ennis.
Yeah.
He came in, he played 1 year, he left. And what is he doing now? Not much in the NBA.
No, and I understand that. Look, we all need to make a buck. Okay, these guys, a lot of these guys, they come from impoverished backgrounds. They don't have any money to begin with. I mean, they want to make money, and you can't blame them for that. But I think on the other hand, you got to think short term versus long term. And if you've been in a bad financial situation for most of your life, I think another year or two. Especially because you get insurance from the NCAA against future pro earnings, I think you could hang in there and better your game and make more money in the long run. But again, it's not our place to say because we're not the ones in that situation. So
yeah, that's why players in that position, like I know that Richardson, they were talking about before the tournament. He was like 77th or something on the list, and guess what? There aren't that many picks in the NBA draft. So he had a good couple games there, but is that enough for the NBA scouts to say, oh, this guy is a first round pick? I mean, is that enough for him to say, hey, I'm gonna dip my toe in and give this a try? And like you said, I mean, the financial part of it, certainly understand that, but there are benefits to getting your degree, or at least working towards that. And maybe one of the things that stuck out about Villanova is that they were led by seniors. You had a couple good players there, Archie Diacono, for example. They stayed in school, and are they going to be NBA players? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But they at least have something to fall back on. If you leave in your first year at Kentucky, Syracuse, Duke, wherever, what are you going to fall back on if it doesn't work out? I mean, that's a big question these guys have to answer.
No, it's something that I understand from their standpoint. And like I said, look, if these guys want to stick it out and get a degree, that's great. More power to them. That's what you're there in college to do. But when you're at a big college, program like Syracuse, let's not fool ourselves there. These guys are there to play basketball. They're not there to get degrees. If they get a degree, that's great. It's because they took advantage of their opportunities that any average student would love to have. But they're not there to get degrees. And I hate to say that, but that's the truth. They're there to play basketball. That's why they're there to begin with. They wouldn't be at Syracuse if they weren't good basketball players. End of story. It's kind of sad, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
Now, for a good story, Syracuse women. I mean, look, yeah, they got the doors blown off them by UConn, and I really thought that they were going to be able to hang around with UConn. I didn't pick them to win. I thought they'd keep it within single digits, high single digits, like a 5 to 10 point game. I really thought they were what they did best. 3-point shooting and their full court pressure was going to help them against UConn and keep the game a little close. But UConn, to their credit, and this is where the talent, definitely steps up. They just went right through Syracuse like a hot knife through butter. I mean, it was over in the first quarter, and I was stunned by how quickly UConn just boom exploded and just took advantage of their strengths and just, like I said, it's an amazing thing about it. They were outscored at one point by Syracuse 17-0,
Yeah.
and they still won by 31.
Yeah.
And that's incredible.
Yeah, Syracuse gave them their best in that third quarter
Yeah.
run that you were just mentioning, and cut the gap.
Yeah.
But the gap at that point was so
19
huge,
or
it
18?
didn't even matter.
I would love to know if someone has the information here. This is an amazing thing about. Has a team ever lost by more than 30 points, but yet went on a 17-0 run? Think about that.
Yeah.
Think about it. You got beat by 30, but at one point you outscored your opponent 17-0.
Yeah.
That's amazing. If that's actually the first time that's ever happened. We'll put the guys in Elias on that one, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that they would be able to track it down. You mentioned the 3-point shooting, though, and that really, I think, was the difference, because if you look at the, UConn won 82-51, and Syracuse missed 17 3-point attempts.
Yeah, they didn't get many. They didn't get many good looks at the basket. That was the thing that surprised me. I thought for sure they would do some things to try to, a screen or some type of play where they could get a decent look at the basket and at least get a good shot off. But UConn, like I said, to their credit, they never let Syracuse get in any type of rhythm offensively with the 3-pointers, and it was an avalanche. But the thing is, Syracuse women. We talked about the men, that it's a great season to go to the Final Four. For the women, it's the greatest season in the history of the program by far, that they went to the championship game. And again, no shame in losing to UConn. What an incredible season for Quentin Hillsman and the Orange women's basketball team, and just something that I hope, and we've discussed this before, will translate into more fans in the seats at the Carrier Dome next winter. This program averaged 750 fans a game, regular season game. They had 3,800 at the game I went to when Albany played, and Albany brought a few hundred people, so it wasn't like there was 3,800 Syracuse fans. I would probably say there was about 3,200 to 3,300 Syracuse fans, and the rest were Albany fans. Albany definitely had a lot of people come for that game, a few hundred people. So can Syracuse keep this going and A, get more fans in the seats, and B, recruit and keep the talent level up where they can sustain this? Because I think they can.
Yeah.
And Quentin Hillsman's already said he doesn't want to go anywhere, which I think is a very smart thing, because something, you're already in an ACC program. Okay, you're competing against the best teams in the country. It's not like my alma mater, Albany, that lost its women's coach to Central Florida. She had won 5 straight America East Conference championships. They had won an NCAA game against Florida. I think she felt that that's probably the max I'm going to be able to do with this program. I'm a hot name. I can cash in. I'm going to go to Central Florida. And I can't blame her for that. But, if you're Quentin Hillsman, you're already at that top-level program, and now you've built this thing up over the last 10 years. Now you can hopefully sustain it and keep it at that level where, UConn is not going to win every single year. They're going to be a human team eventually where they can be beaten. And, who's to say Syracuse, can't, capitalize off this run, and in 2 or 3 years with the talent they brought in, maybe win the national title.
Yeah. They have Alexis Peterson coming back. Heard today Brittany Sykes.
Yeah.
They have a lot of pieces there that they can build off of, and the recruits coming in. This team, really, I think it's this is just the beginning. They made it to the Final Four and then the national title game. Huge achievements all around, and they have something to build off of. Now you want to take that next step. You want to be the champion at the end of it all, and they've gotten a taste of it, and hopefully Peterson's a freshman, I believe, which is crazy. So hopefully, over the next 3 years, the team can really develop into a champion.
I got a crazy idea here. I know we're supposed to talk about golf a little bit, but maybe we don't get to it, even though it is the Masters. But I have a crazy idea. Syracuse, obviously, the men's basketball team, they're one of the top 3 draws in all of college basketball. I mean, their home attendance average is one of the best in the country. Maybe Syracuse needs to try something a little different here to help, get the women's numbers up. Maybe when you buy a men's season ticket, you have the option to get a women's season ticket for free. Okay? Think about it. Now,
Or some sort of discount.
or discount too, I know, but I think the free thing would attract more people. So this way, if you've never been to a women's game, but you go to most of the men's games, you try a women's game. Hey, it's not going to cost you anything, right? You go to a women's game, and maybe you have a good time, and maybe you enjoy it, and maybe you get to see how good women's basketball can be at the highest level. And maybe you get drawn in. And then after that 1 year of a free season ticket, then they start charging you for it, or at least at a discount for the second year. And maybe you build it up that way. Maybe that's the way to do it. I mean, as a lost leader, so to speak. You're still going to make money on concessions.
Right.
You could charge for parking. Women's parking is free now, but maybe you charge $5 or something where you get something. But I think Syracuse really needs to be creative and innovative in ways to get people to go to women's games, because unfortunately they are playing in such a large shadow of the men's team. But like I said, this is a once in 5 to 10 year opportunity for Syracuse coming off a Final Four for the women's team. Let's just hope they can keep it going, sustain the success, and like I said, most importantly, get maybe 10,000 people at the Dome for a women's game per game. I mean, if you got 10,000 people at that Dome, the whole lower tier would be pretty full. It would be amazing. Okay, so let's see what they can do here. Hopefully, Syracuse, the marketing people and at Syracuse are thinking in similar ways, like what can we do to take advantage of this success and get this program where it needs to be with the fans.
Yeah. I like the idea of kind of pairing the men and women, and I think even if it's not with tickets, it could be just strictly marketing. With mentioning the fact that you have not one but 2 good basketball
Two
programs
Final Four
here,
teams,
and 2 Final Four teams exactly, and really highlight that because. I think a lot of attention, and we saw this, being in the Syracuse TV market, a lot of the attention is paid to the men. And, the women got some, but certainly not on the same level. And, I thought, given the historic significance, they should have had, certainly more attention paid to them. And, I think you can build off that. You can, going into the 2016-17 season, really play that up. We have 2 Final Four teams in our backyard. Check them out.
Yeah.
Check out the men, playing, Duke or whomever. Check out the women as they play, some of the best schools in women's basketball.
It's too bad they can't do like a doubleheader where like the women play first and the men play second. You can't really do that. I don't think that's done anywhere today. But I know that in the past that maybe some high school teams, the girls team plays first, then the boys team. I don't think you can do that at the Division I level, but it'd be kind of nice if there was some type of, like I said, that you could have the programs kind of a little look closer at the hip there to try to like draw in the casual fans. So, all right. Anything else you want to add?
I'm good.
You want to talk Masters?
We can get to it quickly.
A little bit. I know you want to talk it. I know. I don't want to disappoint you. So, just give the green jacket back to Jordan Spieth. Okay.
Wow.
Unless this kid falls apart. I mean, come on. He's 600 today.
Yeah.
Think about it.
That's a good
That's
opening
pretty
round.
good opening round. And there's other guys that are going to be up there, but really, this kid, I mean, obviously something about Augusta, that just draws out the best in his game because he had not played well recently.
No, yeah,
He had been struggling.
He's had some struggles, and I think for a lot of guys, especially champions, there's something about Augusta that obviously it's a course you've seen before. It's not like the other majors where you play, it moves around. So you're used to seeing that course, and you go there and there's just a comfort, and you see that with Bubba Watson, who has played well today. He's won 2 green jackets. You see that with even guys like Tiger. I mean, Tiger, back after his scandal and everything, and he was playing some hideous golf. He'd show up at Augusta and actually play halfway decent.
Yeah.
He was in contention a couple times too. So, it's it's just great, to be able to watch, a major, and Spieth is fun to watch. Rory McIlroy is a guy to keep an eye on. He's really been focused on winning this tournament, and it's the only one he needs to get the career Grand Slam. So, he's playing in some rougher conditions today. He'll go off in the morning tomorrow, which I think he could really go low tomorrow. We'll see what happens. But a lot of guys in contention this weekend, a lot of familiar names, and that's the great thing about golf these days. It's not just one guy; it's 5 or 10 guys that certainly make it worth watching.
I'd like to see Phil get in contention. I like to see Tom Watson make the cut. This is his last Masters, and I'd like to see Tom Watson make the cut and play on the weekend. I think would be kind of cool. So, but anything else you want to answer?
No.
All right, let's wrap it up. Enjoy the golf, folks. Enjoy the golf, folks, and we'll see you next week.